With our basic CRM functions, we can see a list of customers and suppliers. We can drill down into the details of those customers and suppliers, add things like contact information, addresses. We can link with accounting packages to store balances and get credit limit updates from third-party accounting packages. We can set pricing tiers to have automated markups for our different customers with different levels of markups. We can see a list of history and events that we've had with a customer. We can see history of things like jobs, delivery notes, and invoices. Now we'll look at the 2D quoting process. We'll import some parts from various different CAD formats. We can set information about the parts, including things like next operations. We'll click OK. We'll use this button to automatically nest and apply NC to all the parts. So this will allow us to get the most accurate quote possible. We'll then create the quote, select the customer. We can change things like due dates if we know them. We can also change other settings if we want. We then calculate the cost and the markup for all the parts. We can also, during the quoting process, we can check the production capacity. So we can look and see which machines have availability to do work. And that'll let us have an idea of when we would be able to get those quotes to the customer. We can even drill down into the particular days and see which jobs are taking up the time. We can then change the status to a quote, print off customizable documentation, print it, save it, or email it directly to our customers. And then when we're ready to create the production order, we just change the status again, this time to order. We have more documentation that we can print. In this case, it's an order confirmation. And again, we can save, print, or email directly. The parts get saved. Green lights. We now create the work order inside SigmaNEST. Now we'll look at the 3D quoting. Once we import the part into SolidWorks or the assembly, we'll create the job. SolidWorks will then do feature recognition, and then we will calculate the cost of all of the parts and apply those markups. Again, here we're setting the customer. Here's all the individual parts that are needed. And the quoting process is the same. Now for assemblies, we can also manage assemblies. So in this case, it can be an assembly that has a few different SigmaNEST parts that might need a couple operations, and then an assembly operation. Could be something more complex like this cabinet, which has multiple SigmaNEST parts, a couple different assembly steps, even include some parts like nuts and bolts off the shelf. And then we would assemble and then do packaging. You can also include documents to the assemblies so that when you add those assemblies into a job, those documents will automatically follow along. So here I'm just going to go grab that cabinet that we were just looking at, and I'll add it into the job so I can quote the entire thing very quickly. We can also see that the documents attached to that assembly came with them into the job.